I love that song. Hey, my friends, this is Andy Falco Jimenez coming to you live from Yorba Linda, California, part of the PYLUSD, and you're watching Vote PYL Vote. I've decided to keep that name for now because it won't be long until it's 2024, and we'll be right back into an election cycle. But tonight, most importantly, we need you, all parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, anybody else that can get to the school board meeting tonight. It's at 6 p.m. tonight at the PYLUSD office on Orangethorpe, and just drive up the hill into the parking lot and you'll see where everybody's kind of streaming in there. But try to get there early so you can get your name down to speak and speak out against some of the things that just continue to be plaguing our school district. None of which has to do with education. It's everything that we're arguing against has to do with what's taken away from the children's education. I just often wonder, like, and I think I even said at the last school board meeting that I was spoke at. It wasn't the normal one. It was a special meeting, but it just seems strange that we are in a place where, as parents, we are going to a school to fight to bring back education into the schools. You can just sit here and just say, what the heck happened? Why are, they're either lowering the standards so that you essentially don't even really have to show up, and then somehow you pass. We already know that our literacy rate, and possibly our speaking rate, but our literacy rates are down well below most countries on our planet. I think we're something like 42 or something like that in the rankings of education in the world, the United States. And in California, the kids are just suffering so much from lack of education, mathematics, to reading and writing. And it shows. If you've gone to any store where you have a 20-something or even a teen behind the register, you immediately see the impact of poor education as soon as you begin dealing with some of them. Now, some of them, like at Bodie, seem to be fairly intelligent and do really well. But at some of the other places, like Target or Starbucks or what have you, there just is a lack of education to the point where when they're counting back their money, where they have to look, have you seen them where they're counting back money and they have to look and see, okay, 20, if it says 23 cents, they got to think, okay, that's 2 dimes and 3 pennies, where there's just like, wow, whatever happened? I don't understand that it's not only is the school not educating, but even the businesses seemingly don't know how to educate them about, talking to somebody, greeting somebody, treating somebody with respect, to making eye contact. I mean, there's just so much that's not happening. And it's sometimes some of it's is home. I understand that, but so much of that used to be taught in school. I know that teachers, when my daughter went to a school here in was it Brea or Placentia? I can't remember where that school was. It was a private school, but they had to shake hands before they entered the room and say, good morning, whatever the teacher's name is. Good morning, Mrs. Smith. And how are you today? And then the teacher would respond back, and the child would respond back with something else. And then they would go into the classroom. Just simple things like that. And that was required to shake hands and make eye contact when they were doing it. Just those simple things that we have seemingly gotten away. And one of the reasons we've gotten away from it is because of the teachers' unions. The teachers' unions have very little interest in the type of education that benefits children long term, that will allow them to become the next entrepreneur, that will allow them to take on higher roles in enterprise of some type of enterprise of some sort, that there is this dumbing down of children for what end? Not quite sure, other than they are mostly Democrats that are, if not all Democrats that run these teachers unions, that they find that it's necessary to dumb down humans from the time that they are small, from pre-K to 12th grade, to dumb them down so that there's this need for government, because that is that is the backbone of the party, is that government needs to be big, and government is their god, and government needs to take care of people because people are too stupid. That's where you get DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which I heard Dan Bongino today. He said it needs to be called diversity, inclusion, and equity, because it stands for die. You're going to die if you continue to push DIE, which is also DEI, CRT, SEL on these kids, is because they will just simply mentally die, and quite possibly physically die, because our communities are full of children that just cannot make it in this world because they lack the education. And this is it seemingly is what the teachers union is most interested in. I have investigated the teachers unions for a good 3 years now, and have found them, and you've watched on other shows, if you're watching this and you've seen it before, that it's simply a cabal of organizations between the CTA, well, first the NEA, the CTA, and in our case, the APLE, but other smaller teachers unions, that all these unions are linked in a cabal between the national, the NEA, the state, which is the CTA, and then, of course, like I said, our local, which is the APLE, where they have joined together in a common desire to not care about how their policies and decision making and what their indoctrination. Sorry, I couldn't come up with that word for a while. The indoctrination that they're so hard. They're so trying so hard to make sure it becomes a part of the curriculum in every school throughout the not only California but throughout the United States. That they've lost any interest in education of children. And they will argue with you and say, no, we need to teach that the United States is racist. We need to teach that police officers kill people on a daily basis of color. That Republicans and their conservative thoughts are a threat to this country. That they are a bunch of terrorists. That when they push these ideologies, this idea through the teachers unions, that it does get into the teachers, that because they have that direct connection to the teachers, and it has become a scourge on our school district. Tonight at the school board meeting, I think it would be important to bring up, if you're going to speak, about how we need to stop paying one particular person who is who it's essentially, the old saying about having a fox in the hen house. That obviously that's bad. You don't want a fox in the hen house because the fox will eat all the chickens. But in our case at PYLUSD, not only do we have the fox, which is the president, Linda Mannion of the APLE, in the chicken coop, they are you as a parent are paying for the fox to be in the chicken coop. You are paying the parents of the PYLUSD is paying, and the PYLUSD is paying directly the president of the APLE, the fox in the hen house, paying her $150,000 in actual pay and in benefits. So let me just bring up this graphic here. This is on transparentcalifornia.com. This is what they have her listed as. Linda Mannion was hired by the school district back in 2017 as a teacher, and under the heading of special project. So she's a special project teacher, it says here on transparentcalifornia.com, and has been paid a regular pay of $102,000, $102,774,000. And there's benefits that she gets that are up to $37,925 for a grand total, which you see there on the right. Linda Mannion, as a teacher, but she doesn't do any teaching. But she does cause chaos in our school district by being a representative of the cabal of the NEA, CTA, and the APLE. We are paying her $159,998 to cause chaos in our school district. Is that is that the craziest thing you've ever heard? Who knew? I didn't know that until recently. I found this out about a month ago, and have been just waiting to be able to speak about it at a school board meeting, and then of course to be able to do a show to make you all aware, all of you in the PYLUSD. Now I know there's a bunch of you teachers out there that watch, because I get messages from teachers all the time. I just got another one, I believe it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, from a teacher in the district, and I won't share their name, but I will share their message because it's an important one for you to know. But we're paying Linda Mannion, the president of the APLE, part of the NEA and the CTA, which is destroying children's education throughout the state of California. We are paying her nearly $160,000, very close to as close to $160,000 income, $160,000 annually, and have been doing so since 2017 as a teacher on special assignment to do nothing but to cause chaos in the board meetings, the school board meetings, to cause chaos with the district management. Her and her friend Lopez, Superintendent Lopez, who apparently, from what I'm hearing, is the one who got her the job and was able to finagle whatever he needed to finagle to get her to be paid 160 grand to cause chaos in our district and in our schools. But this needs to stop today. We thought we had a big win when we were able to remove the table from the school board meetings and have her, attend as a regular person, not of some status. But now it all makes sense. Now that we know that the PYLUSD, you are paying this fox to be in the hen house to cause as much chaos as she can possibly cause. And she is doing it. She's causing it right now as we have a new superintendent, as I talked about in our last broadcast, is coming in. She is not hesitating to cause more or continue to cause chaos when it comes to, the lies and deceit of all things PYLUSD related. If she can find a way to misinform or to rally her teachers who are have personality conflicts, let's say, against some of the school board members, 3 in particular. It would have been 4 if the fourth one wouldn't have turned out to be a creep, but she decided to be a creep anyway. But definitely has, the school board has an opinion about Leandra, Todd, and Sean, that she'll do anything she can to make sure that she has as many teachers as possible rally up against those 3 amazing school board members who only care about the education of the kids and are against the indoctrination of the kids. That because of that, they are hated and will do everything they can to lie about things that they have done or have not done. One of the things that comes to charter schools in particular, where there was a charter school that came in and set a proposal to have been reviewed by the school board. And as we would expect our school board members to do, and the reason we voted for the school board members the way that we did, that they would look at proposals, any proposal, it doesn't just have to be charter schools, that any proposal that's brought to the district and it falls under the guidelines of where the school board needs to review and make decisions based on their review and quite possibly maybe a couple meetings with the leadership of said organization that sends a proposal, and in this case happens to be a charter school, that they not just blindly accept a proposal. That would be ridiculous. I was really trying to stop myself from using a really bad word. That would be effing stupid to take a proposal and it just comes in and let's just say because we would like a charter school in the district. Let's say that would be a positive. That's something that some of us was hoping that people would run on, the charter schools and school choice is a positive thing for our community. But let's just say that somebody, has a proposal for a charter school, and they go, oh, we've been waiting for a charter school, and they get a stamp, and they take the stamp and approved. And they wait, you didn't read? You didn't read what it had to say? What if it had to do with you promised to pay for everything and we do nothing? And as a matter of fact, we're not even going to do education. We're going to be part of the CTA, and we're going to indoctrinate every child in there. Wait, it said that in the proposal? Yeah, but you didn't read it. So here comes this proposal from the charter school organization that wants to put in a charter school, and so at least 3 of the school board members did the right thing and said, okay, let's review this thing, and let's consider maybe this part of it and that part of it, but this part of it doesn't really make any sense. Or how is this going to impact the school district? Is this going to cost us so much money that it pulls down some of the more positive things that we have going in the school? Does it not allow us to hire 10 new teachers when we need to hire 10 new teachers if we make a commitment to putting in this charter school? Those are important things to consider. And so what happens is when this happens in our case here at PYLUSD, the charter school does this, and the 3, Sean, Todd, and Leandra, and there may have been a couple other people there, I'm not sure, but said, you know what, thank you for your proposal. We are going to review it, and we're going to make some recommendations. But no, that's not what people like Linda Mannion and Marilyn Anderson, and I don't know about Buck, but what they say is they go out into their minions, their Linda Mannion minions, and they say, "Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe what these 3 did. They just shut it down and threw it in the trash can, and didn't want any discussion, didn't want to do anything." And they start this whole rumor. Why? Because this is my belief. This is not anything that I've heard from anybody else. Is that because as parents who want the best for our kids, but also want a choice. Let's just say that, we don't like what's happening over here and we want to take our kid out of here and put them over here. We want to have things like a choice. What if we want to put them in a charter school? We want the charter schools still to be in with the district and that kind of stuff. And so there was this thought that I have, and I think many other parents, that a charter school, a school choice is a very positive thing. But by causing chaos, as Marilyn Anderson does and Linda Mannion does, and this in the teachers union does, is that they go, listen, we'll say that those 3 just completely shut it down and they didn't want anything to do with it. Their people will really be pissed off at them. And so that's how they think. They're crazy. What happens with liberals and Democrats is beyond my comprehension. That this mindset of causing chaos is their way of doing business. Not going, okay, let's listen to what it is that you don't like. Let's listen. If you'll listen to what it is I don't like or what I do like, and quite possibly we come to a decision on this. And maybe this charter school isn't a fit, but the next one might be. That nothing enters their mind to have that kind of discussion. It's just that, hey, let's slow things down, says the 3, and then the other 2 or 1 says, you know what's better than that? Let's set out a rumor that that they just didn't even want to look at it and they just threw it in the trash can. That will really cause problems for them. We have children. We have literal children in these other people. That Linda Mannion, Marilyn Anderson, Buck's there too. So let's not kid ourselves. But I just don't know about her feelings on this charter school thing. But again, we got this woman here, Linda Mannion, making 160 grand. Essentially, it's 160 grand. So I rounded up. Yes, it's $159,000, $159,998 that she gets paid annually since 2017, and she's getting paid handsomely to cause chaos in our district. So, what am I asking you to do from this this particular? Oh, I see why this isn't coming up. Sorry, I was trying to bring something up here. Oh, you're also getting a phone call at the same time. So if that's coming up, I apologize, or you're hearing it. So with this new district superintendent coming in, fine man, I'm just looking up because I can't remember I don't know why No websites are coming up for me right now. So hopefully you're seeing this. But the new superintendent, whatever his name is, I'm so sorry. He's brand new. It takes me a while for me to learn people's names. Everything I've read about him, everything that I have learned by talking to people that are close to his selection as our superintendent sounds very positive. We got three fantastic board members in Leandra, Sean, and Todd. And we just need to continue this fight through. I know that it's hard on those three, that they get attacked constantly, especially Leandra gets attacked just relentlessly. And all of it, as far as I can tell, all of the nasty attacks are lies. I have yet to see a nasty attack that I've had to go to Leandra and say, yeah, but they're kind of right. I've never had to do that, but I'm sure it'll happen. It has to happen because we are flawed people. We are sinful, flawed people. But as of yet, I have not seen it. Now, early on, I think we had one interview where we went, oop, maybe that was not a great idea, but that was it. And we've had those honest conversations, and we can. Todd, I've heard Linda Mannion attack him for not being a Christian, although he's very Christian, not in a good way. There's bad being a Christian, but there's good being a Christian. Todd is on the good of that equation. And Linda Mannion, one who just loves trannies, apparently loves the sexualization of our kids in education, has the guts. There's a better word. Has the guts to attack Todd and say that he's not Christian. How crazy is that? And then we have Sean, who a stand-up guy, fireman, who just doesn't deserve some of the attacks that happens to him, where he was in Texas once and joining us by phone, and they decided that was like the biggest scandal, that he should have been parked. He should have been parked. They made a scandal that he wasn't at the location that he originally started at, that because he wasn't there, that invalidated his vote. It's just some of the craziness. All right, one last thing before I leave. I just want to talk about what this teacher sent me. And it's something that is really concerning to my wife and I know other parents. The amount of nonsense that is happening in the schools in the form of drugs being used in the bathrooms and on breaks, that kids are leaving classes to meet other children who are leaving their classes and partaking in consuming drugs. And in some cases, they are doing the same thing to partake in the activity of having sex. That sex is fairly rampant, according to my children, who know what's happening in the schools. And let's not kid anybody. These kids know what's happening. They're not stupid. And you would not believe what's happening in the bathrooms at school. And it would probably happen to on a certain level. I'm trying to think back when I was in school, and I know it was a long time ago, but I know they would at least leave campus to do drugs. I knew the kids that were doing, smoking pot and maybe doing other things, that although they may be doing hand-to-hands, distribution of some sort within the school, but in most cases, if I remember right, and I knew a lot of the drug addicts, that they were doing it on the outside of the school. They would leave campus and do it. But what is happening? This is happening inside the schools, so much so that it is a continuous problem, and it's not being stopped. That we're busy paying Linda Mannion $160,000, but not putting enough security in the schools to manage what is happening in the bathrooms. What's happening during the times that school is in session, that these kids are leaving and just walking out of the classrooms. Why are they just walking out of the classrooms? Why are they being allowed to just walk out of the classrooms? The parents not say, hey, my kid can go pee before class starts. Do not let my kid out. They do not. They reject any thought that they have to go and pee during class. They don't have a bladder problem. They don't have a problem where they can't hold their urine. They are not allowed to leave your class. How about that? So, but it also stems from the actions of, again, the teachers unions and many of the teachers who have been sexualizing our kids for years in these schools. When I look at this message by this particular teacher that watches the show like many teachers do, because they talk to me and they say, hey, thank you for doing that and thank you for talking about this. But this teacher says, and it's one of the schools within the district, so I'll go that far, that says, I've seen the gay flags posted in several of my coworkers' classrooms, and believe me, I would love to confront them about it. It's disgusting to me that teachers are getting away with this nonsense of showing that they're an ally, which in essence gives them the permission to have discussions about sexuality, even if they're the art teacher. And there's so much in that this is the problem. That I have the problem with my kids know that there's certain types of music that I don't like listening to in the car when we're on a road trip or going back and forth from school, that kind of stuff. And I talk to them about why that's important to not continually have the words that are used in some of the songs used over and over and over in the head, because it will negatively impact their thought process. That it normalizes the idea of having casual sex. That's not what you want to have normalized in your head over and over again through the music that you're listening to. And I may sound like an old geezer or what have you, but it's important. We've known these things for years. This is actual science, not the make-believe science that they like to push on you in regard to masks and vaccines. But the real life science is that you bombard your brain with thoughts and concepts that are harmful. You will then act out harmfully. And then on top of the music you're listening to, then you're on social media, and the same thing is happening through those types of posts, that is normalizing and making it okay to have multiple partners and free sex, and why not do it at school? It'll be fun. And the CTA put out a flyer that if the children scan the QR code, I've showed this to you, that it tells you how to have all these types of sexual exploits and how to sex to one another. Yes, the CTA, the California Teachers Association, put out a QR code that the teachers will give to the students to scan, and it tells them how to sext one another, take naked pictures of each other, talk about sex and sexual stuff. So in this message I get from the teacher is that he is 100% right. By putting the flag, it is a signal to the students who are already on the road down and down further into the abyss, that gives them the feeling of, hey, I can go to this teacher and talk about these things, or this teacher will allow me to take a break so that I can, do what it is I want to do. And that is a signal, and it is very clear. And this teacher just hit the nail on the head by bringing that to my attention. And again, this teacher is not the first one. I've gotten so many messages from teachers. But the other thing that take away from his message is that, did you hear how he said that he wants to say something, but he can't? I think that there's a couple things that we can take away from the show today that I'm doing, and some of the messaging that we're getting from the CTA and what's happening in our schools and what this teacher said. And that is that we're in a new era here at the PYLUSD. I think that between the 3 school board members and the superintendent, and hopefully he's going to clean house and get rid of the other superintendents that were under the old regime, and bring in some superintendents that have common sense, that know how to balance a checkbook and know how to educate, that will bring those in, not the ones that we have in place now. I think Lopez is already out, which is a very positive thing. That we want teachers now to not feel that they can't speak up about these things. I hope that sometime soon the superintendent and the school board members will put out that message that, hey, you don't have to be afraid anymore. I know under the old way of doing things at PYLUSD, you couldn't say, hey, this is not right. Not educating our kids. This is not right. Sexualizing our kids. This is not right. The amount of narcotics that are being used in our school, and it's seemingly being just allowed and overlooked, and not that big of a deal. It is something that now you can speak out about. And so I hope that the 3 school board members, Sean, Leandra, and Todd, and the new school superintendent, will make that message clear, that this is no longer a place where you have to stay silent. You don't have to worry about losing your job because you decided that you want to speak out against men competing against girls in girls sports. that you too think that that's wrong. That boys dressing in the girls' locker room is that's weird, and that's just simply wrong. Nobody cares about what the girls think when it comes to boys dressing in their locker room. Really, nobody cares anymore. You only care about that boy who wants to get undressed and do his thing there in front of the girls. That's the only person we care about. So we want that to make a safe place. The last thing is that I don't see any problem. I've seen this at other schools where we need to have a dad brigade that goes to the schools, and we can vet the dads. You can do live scan and a whole bunch of other things, and review and have them fill out applications to make sure that they will not be a problem, but they will come in, a bunch of dads. What better than have a bunch of dads and moms too, that maybe former law enforcement, military, that come in. They don't have to be armed. Don't take this wrong. I know that the first thing you think of, and you want them to be armed, which I'm not against, but let's start small. That they come in and they have a shift in the schools, that 4 or 5 of them a day can come in and patrol the restrooms, patrol the grounds. When students are suddenly seen leaving a classroom, that they actually have a pass and they're going to go do what they're going to do and not going to do something else. I think it's time for a parent brigade to be in the schools. And we should really begin to start considering that we have parents that have been fingerprinted and gone through. I don't think, again, kind of like the charter school thing, we don't blindly just jump into something, but we probably should consider doing something like that. I think that would be important. Hey, if you're watching this, whether you're watching live or on the replay, please comment. Let me know what it is you think. If any of these things seem way off base, and just let me know. Let me know what it is that you would like to see. Let me know what you have heard is happening in your school. Let me know if a teacher has reached out to you and said, "Hey, you know what's going on in our schools is just not right. That the indoctrination has gone just a little bit too far. It's approving of the sex that these kids are having in the bathrooms. It is happening. Don't ask me how I know, but I know it is happening. Drugs are being used in the bathrooms. Again, I know that it's happening. I absolutely know that it's happening, and it needs to stop. And I hear that Eldo's, where my kids go to high school, is not even the worst. I'm hearing from other people say, yeah, but you should hear what's going on in Yorba Linda High School. You should hear what's going on in some of these other schools. It's bad. So a parent brigade, I think, is one of those solutions. I think also that the school board and the superintendent needs to let teachers know that where you thought you couldn't speak out before, you can now, and it's safe for you to do that. All right, my friends. So get to the school board meeting tonight, 6:00 at the school board. You're going to say to me that maybe if I don't show up tonight, because moving it to 6:00 has been a little bit of a hardship. But when it was at 7:00, it was perfectly fine. But being at 6:00, that's right at the time that I have so many things going on. Thankfully, one of my sons, lacrosse is over, just ended. But cheerleading is starting up, and so I'm not sure what I have to do with cheerleading today. I got jujitsu and I got Muay Thai that one of my other sons does. That all is during that time period. So I will do my best to be at the school board meeting. But I'm telling you, you need to be at the school board meeting tonight, 6:00. It's tough, but I will do my very best to be there. So be there, school board meeting. Talk about these things with the school board. Get up and do public comment, and let them know how you feel. My wife just asked me today. I know I was getting ready to sign off. My wife just asked me today, do they really listen to what's going on? And again, I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to tell you how I know this, but I do know that they listen because there have been things that have occurred after times that I've spoke. And I know it's directly related to what it was I said on the podium that day. So they do listen. In some cases, they do take some type of action. In some cases, it's against you, but that's okay. I don't mind that either, as long as they're doing something. And I can tell when they're doing something based on what I said that's against what I said, just to prove a point. They want to try to intimidate me into not doing it again. But again, they know now, hopefully by now, that they will never intimidate me to not get up there and speak out for my kids. All right, my friends, I love you guys. God bless. And I will see you on the next one. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.